What department?
Taylor Swift's new album.
Oh.
I got this octopus, brought it to my class, told them that this is Moodmati, person who changes their mood, right? If you're going to do good work, it's going to smile. If you're not going to show me good work, it's going to be angry or sad. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to shave it. I took a razor, I shaved my hair. And I'll pick up like black hole and depression and anxiety. Those were my inspiration, and then I'll design jewelry out of it. So
Are you wearing any of your design jewelry?
Not right now. I actually won the award of the most innovative project in jewelry design for all the 3 collections that I've designed.
Oh, lovely. Hi guys, welcome back to the Dvi Show. You're on episode number 50. मैंने अभी तक जिनके साथ भी पॉडकास्ट किया है, मेरे सबसे फेवरेट लोग जो बात करने के लिए होते हैं वो हमेशा और हमेशा एक टीचर होती है. अ टीचर इन एनी एसेंस. जबकि आप देखोगे तो एक एंटरप्रेन्योर भी एक टीचर ही होता है कहीं ना कहीं, बिकॉज देयर कांस्टेंट नीड टू help people grow and add value into their lives, make them a teacher themselves. But I am talking about someone who has gone through a particular course over and over again, have answered thousands of questions around it, and वो एक्चुअल स्टूडेंट्स को सिखा कर उनकी लाइफ में वैल्यू प्रोवाइड करती है. Today we have Swasti Garg. She is the founder of Des Global, which is a jewelry design course, a certified course for e-learning. If you want to learn jewelry design from a professional, she has one of the most unique curations for you, and we are going to break down her process of teaching, her process of research, and so much more in this episode. So stay tuned, and I'll see you at the end. Bye. Hello.
How are you?
Very good. You look lovely.
Thank you.
I love your bag.
Thank you.
There's this sense of a feeling when you sit with a designer and then you know.
So how is your day going so far?
Oh, don't ask.
Let me just put on this.
Yeah. Or how have you been?
Just great.
Great.
Yeah.
क्या चल रहा है?
अभी तो Tortured Poets department चल रहा है.
What department?
Taylor Swift's new album.
Oh.
I'm a Swiftie. So yeah.
Oh, lovely. So what do you find something similar to her personality?
I think
Bye.
the fact that she doesn't give up. So for me also, I am a person who will not give up.
Yeah.
So I might cry, I might, just be disturbed with something, and okay, there's a setback, but I will not give up. I'll do something, I'll find a way, but I'll do what I want to do.
Interesting.
So that is something about me.
What kind of other artists do you like in general?
In general, I like Olivia. I generally like artists with whose lyrics or story I can relate to. So that is something in me. I also like Dakota Johnson a lot because of her bubbly personality.
Yeah.
So that is something about me. I'm very much connected to people who are real and who tell stories that you can connect to.
Lovely. Also, I love the way you do your hair and everything. So I think I was just going through your pictures before, and the description that you shared, it has some of your old pictures from Pearl also.
Yeah.
And there was like this drastic switch in your personality with the way you've done your hair. So for any girl, it's like a
very big
journey.
step.
It's a very big step, and it takes a journey to reach till there. So what was your story behind going into like your short hair girl era?
Okay, so first of all, I wanted to look different. That is something. And secondly, when I was very young, I would say, I think I was 3 or 4 years old. So I used to live in Arunachal Pradesh with my grandparents. So my grandfather, he's a retired officer now, so he was a forest officer. So we were going somewhere in the van, and something happened, and it got off track, and we were in the valley. Next thing we know, but we were fortunately saved by like 2 or 3 bamboo trees, so our van was like just stuck over there.
Okay.
So I was sitting at the window side, and there were pieces of glass that were shattered, and they got into my scalp. So they got.
How old were you?
I think I was 3 or 4. I think, yeah. So I was very young, and before that I had like really curly hair like you, which are beautiful by the way. So I had really long hair till my like lower back, and everybody would just turn their faces around. That is what my mom says. So yeah, then the pieces got into my scalp and they were surgically removed. So I had some bald spots, permanent bald spots. And every time it was like growing up, everybody's coming and commenting, and you were like, "Ye tel try karo, ye remedy try karo, and you should do this." And I'm like, I'm doing everything, but people don't just really understand.
Yeah.
So it was like a lot of hiding for me. Like, you know, you have to conceal it, otherwise people will say. So one day, like last year, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to shave it. I took a razor, I shaved my hair. So I didn't even go to any salon or something. I was like, I'm just going to do it myself. And that was the time my nephew
What was that trigger, the last piece of advice that someone gave?
It wasn't an advice. It was like I was in the process of recording my jewelry design videos, and I just wasn't happy with the process of, you know, okay, you have to do your makeup now, you have to hide your spots, because, you know, somebody, even if they are like very dear friends of mine, they're going to write in the story and, you know, suggest me some product. And I have, till this point, I have tried a lot of different products like from Dermaco to, you know, different products, and I know that, you know, if there is something that is wrong with that area, nothing can do. Nothing will work. So I was like,
I think your hair follicles of that area are damaged completely.
So that was it, and then I was like, you know what? And then Jaipur water, of course. This is something that everybody says. So it's hard. So that's why I was like, that is it. Now I'm just going to shave it, and everybody welcomed it. Like my family never told me that why did you do it.
So taxing place to get my car out, man.
Jaipur is getting very crowded.
Very crowded. Oof. Already my driving frustration is out. Anyway, yeah. But it really actually suits you. Like, I'm sure a lot of people told you that.
Even my boss at JCRC, she's like, you know, you should keep this hair. Don't change this hairstyle, because, you know, every student is like, who is this person? Who is this person? So there's this kind of mystery around you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm not going to change it now. And I'm much more comfortable, much more confident, and it takes me like 5 minutes to get ready. So
that's a blessing. So even with my hair, like curly hair also doesn't require a lot. So I just like open my hair and like go.
That's the best thing. If you can get ready easily, you don't have to put a lot of effort.
Yeah, but I look at some girls. There are some girls who do it with all their heart. They love to dress up, and you know, till the time you're enjoying it, great. But there are some girls who are actually fed up. You know, kya kare? Rose ke rose, they're like heat rods and whatnot. So
I had that relationship with makeup. I used to do like full base of, you know, contouring and everything, foundation.
Every day?
Yeah, like normally if I'm going to college or when I had my business, so I was like, okay, every day I have to go to the store and I have to do makeup. So that was one phase of me. I'll watch a lot of makeup, you know. So that time we had a few makeup artists. Now the industry is so crowded that how many videos can you really watch in a day? So then I was like, okay, that's a lot of product and it's wasting a lot of my time. So now I have like stripped down my routine to just minimal products.
What do you use now?
Just one lip and cheek tint.
That's it?
Yeah, and then it was everywhere.
Lovely. So how's your professional day looking like these days? क्या कर रहे हो आप अपने दिन में? What is your routine like?
It's very hectic usually. So Monday, Thursday and Friday. So 3 days a week I have a job at JCRC. I'm a visiting faculty. So I teach master and bachelor students of jewelry design.
Oh, lovely.
And then all the other days, including weekends, I wake up at 5 a.m. and then I record and shoot videos at 5 in the morning, because there's a lot of construction going on, and of course there are so many people around, and it's like Guru Nanak Pura, so Rajapal Guru Nanak Pura, it's very crowded. So that is the only time I'm free of all the other nonsense, and I want to give like the best quality to my students. So that is what I do. I wake up, I record the videos, then I send them to my editor. First I was doing it last year, now I've hired a team, so they are editing the videos. And
So
then
these days, the alternate days where you mentioned you go to JCRC, that takes up your entire day?
half
Half
day.
of it.
Yeah, even those days I have to wake up at 5 because JCRC there are like 2 shifts. There is a morning shift and evening shift. So jewelry
Okay.
design classes are held in the morning shift. It's like 7 a.m. I have to be ready and have to go to JCRC.
Okay. JCRC never had an issue with the fact that you also have your own course where
No,
you know,
never.
people can
Because
switch.
before joining JCRC, I was already doing it. My classes were on Skillshare. That's another
Yeah.
platform, right?
Right.
And then there were some change. I think there were some changes in the rules and
Policy,
regulation
yeah.
around RBI. So my students from India, they weren't able to enroll to my courses on Skillshare, and there was a huge demand. So I was like, you know what? It's high time that I create my own portal. And actually, they just never had any problem regarding my own courses.
Okay. So is it similar what you're like what is the similarity between your course and what you're teaching at the moment to other students? Is it like the structure is the same?
Yeah, the structure is similar, and I also don't want people who are joining our courses online to miss out on what they would have learned at any institute physically, right?
Yeah.
So the reason why it is so similar is because I have the liberty to teach whatever I want at JCRC. So I'm just told that these are the topics that you have to cover, you have to teach, but you are totally free. You teach them how you want to teach them, and that is how it goes. So I'm the one who is structuring all the worksheets and you know how I want to take the design project forward.
Right.
So that is something that I'm also doing online. It's just that online courses are much more in depth. So
Right.
oftentimes students have this misconception that you know because it's online we are not going to get the value. But my students online, they are able to provide much more better results, because what happens in any institute or university is that a class is held and now next class will be about some other topic.
Yeah.
So a student, if they miss that particular class or they weren't able to catch
They
something,
can't go back.
they can't go back. With our videos, they're pre-recorded videos, very in depth. So they have the liberty that until they master a certain skill or technique, they can always go back. And that is why our students online, they are providing us much better results in first attempt. There is a student who is studying like orthographic views. That is something that we have in jewelry design. Like if I have a ring, how is it going?
Orthographic
Views.
views.
Yeah. So how is this ring going to look from top, from side, and from front? So this is a topic that a lot of students struggle with, and this is one of our top-selling courses. So there is a student named Daniela. She is from I think UK or US. So she just completed a worksheet that we have shared in our course, and she sent a photo. And for a moment, I was like, why is she sharing my own sheet too? And then I realized that this is her sheet that she has done after watching our courses.
Oh wow.
So that is something nice to see.
I really want to break down like the kind of because for any layman who doesn't understand jewelry might have an interest in it, but पता नहीं है jewelry design में what will I get taught, मतलब क्या क्या course modules होंगे, समझ में क्या आएगा मेरे को by the beginning of it and by the end of it, what kind of person will I be and how will my interest reflect on my career, will I be able to pursue it. So I'll deep dive into that also. But so Des Global, I'm really interested. Why Des?
Okay, so first I'll go back to my college time. So when I was in college, like first year itself, like Instagram was new to everyone. Everybody was making a profile. So my friends asked me to join it. I also did it, but I was not interested in posting my photos, and I was more interested in showing my creative process. So since I am like I was 3 years old, I have been sketching and doing something related to art and craft. So I was always into it. So I would make like some craft work, like these peanuts ke shell, moongfali ke chilke. So I made I carved out shoes out of them for my Barbies. When I was like 7, I was in 7th or 8th grade. So these are the kind of projects that I used to do. So when I was in college, I'll share my work, and I remember one of my classmates, she came up to me and she was like, तेरे को follow करने का क्या फायदा है? College में भी you are doing work, Insta पे भी you are posting work. There is nothing that we can know about you. I was like, okay. And it was majorly me posting work. Somehow I started gaining followers. There were page name was Swastika Designs. So last year, I think till December 21st, my business was running with this name only, Swastika Designs. And then I thought, it's time to have
Give it a professional.
because Swastika Designs doesn't really reflect what does this global reflects, right?
Yeah.
Like it's high time to rebrand it, and then I came with this. It just
So it's like design and swasti.
yeah, something like that. Came up with a lot of names, and then this stuck me. I was like, yeah, this is very universal.
Yeah,
And-
it is. It
Yeah.
genuinely is. Like it has that click.
Even our students were very happy. So I attended the Jaipur Jewelry show. So there is a student who just came from Delhi to meet me and attend the show.
Yeah.
So I asked her, how do you feel about the rebranding? And she was like, this was much needed, and I was so happy.
Yeah.
Because we also wanted that, because our courses are certification courses, so we provide certificate. Like if anybody holds this certificate, they should feel happy about it. They should be able to, show it to someone else.
Right.
Like 2 weeks ago, there was a student who called me and she was like, I have done my course from multiple places and I'm interested in your course. But the only problem is I have done a lot of different courses on jewelry design and I'm still not confident. So I asked her, can you tell me from where you have done your course? And she was like, I can't give you a name, I'm very ashamed of it. And that hit me. I was like, you know what, you join our courses, you're never going to feel that way. We are going to provide you a lot of value. And I asked her, how much have you spent on your course so far? And she was like, I've spent nearly 2 lakh rupees on my courses and I have a certificate that I can't even show anybody. And I was like, if you would have just enrolled to our course, you would have saved so much money and you would
What
have
is
had-
your course price bracket?
It keeps on changing. So India में अगर हम बात करें, it's 16,500.
Okay. That is the 7-week course.
No, 7-week course was a live course. So we were offering live course like last year.
Okay.
And then it was like there were students also. We had students not only from India, we had students from Kuwait. Then we had students from New York. So there were a lot of students. Now the problem was some of them could join the live class, some of them couldn't because they had busy schedules. Some of them were
Right.
and everything, so they couldn't join the class. Now they were depending upon the live recordings. We were also providing them live recordings, but by default the live recordings, because the classes were held on Zoom, so they were restricted to like 480 pixels. Now this can work for a theory course. This is not going to work for a course which is what do I call it, a skill-based course, because
Right.
jewelry is like, it's very tiny. We have to go into so much
The
of detail.
yeah.
So it can be as tiny as like 0.7 mm, which is like very small. So students cannot see it in a live recording. They can, however, see it in the recorded
Videos that you
yes,
shoot.
because we make sure that everything is properly, like our focus is on what we are teaching right now, and they can just zoom in and see everything that we are teaching. So that is why we decided that we are not going to provide a live course now. All the videos are going to be recorded, but we give them personalized feedback sessions. So let's say if you enroll to our any of the course, so we have topic specific courses that are for students who already know about jewelry design, but they just want to like study 1 or 2 topic, and then we have a full package called Disclosive. So it has all the different courses in it. So let's say you enroll to any of our courses and you are practicing because everything is recorded.
Yeah.
Now if you have any doubt, you have my you have access to me, you have my WhatsApp number, you can call me also. You can just share your worksheet or your doubt and I'm going to directly reach out to you. So even though our courses are recorded, the feedback session is so personalized. First of all, when I'm talking to you, I'm not going to talk to any of the students. It's completely one-on-one. So even yesterday there was a student who was doing our gemstone setting course. So she tried to like paint some diamonds and she didn't get the effect that she was that she wanted, and I realized that there are some mistakes that she did and this cannot be explained verbally. So I immediately went to my workstation, I recorded a video, I explained her what are the things that she is doing wrong, and I just sent that video to her, and then her response was, ma'am, this is such a helpful video, I now understand the problems that I was creating. And then she just corrected her mistakes.
So this is like a lifetime subscription now?
No,
that you
it's
can
like
buy?
a 1 year standard 1 year access.
Oh, okay.
So all the courses that are online courses, you will see that generally there is like a 1 year access time.
Yeah. Right. How were your days at Pearl? You're so after Arunachal Pradesh, how did you guys came to Jaipur and then ended up in?
Okay, so
at
my
Pearl?
father is an architect.
Okay.
So he has designed Delhi Metro, has designed stations in Mumbai, Lucknow, and in Dubai also. So in Dubai he had a big team that was working under him. So he had to shift a lot. So after Arunachal Pradesh, we came to Delhi. So I was born in Delhi. We came to Delhi, we stayed there for 2 years. Then we went to UAE. We stayed in Sharjah for 2 years. Then we came back and then we settled in Bahadurgarh, which is like close to Delhi only, Shears border. It's in Haryana. Then from 6th to 12th, I was there. Then I came to Jaipur for my further studies.
Okay. So Jaipur was completely new to you when
Yes,
you started
completely
the jewelry journey. Oh, lovely. And how was Pearl Academy, Whole and Soul? Good, bad? How was your experience?
My experience was pretty good when I was studying because my mentors were really nice. But the thing is, I think there was, what I would say, I personally feel that there could be a lot that could have been covered in the course. Like there were topics that were missing, and it's not just a matter about Pearl. It's even now this is a problem that every institute has. Right. So I have students from the top institute. I just don't want to name them, but these students come up to me and they're like, we have spent lakhs of rupees and we are not getting the value, and there are so many topics that are not covered. The one or two topics that nobody covers is like linking how different elements of jewelry are linked together and views, as I've talked about. So this is what is happening in the jewelry industry, is that there are a lot of vacancies because a lot of people are not aware that there is something called jewelry design. If we talk about tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 cities, the awareness is very low, even in tier 1 cities. Because even if we think about like Bollywood or media in general, if there is any movie, you'll see that the character, even if the character is a designer, either they are a fashion designer or an interior designer. When do we really hear that somebody is a jewelry designer or a watch designer or an automobile designer? It's just not shared. So mostly people who join in jewelry industry are children of the jewelry industry owners because they know about it, or people who generally have an interest in jewelry. I also got into design like in 12th, 11th and 12th I had PCM. I was thinking maybe I'll become an architect like my father because I just didn't know what to do. And everybody was like, you can become an engineer or a doctor or a lawyer or a banker, and I was like, this is not something that is calling to me. And even architecture was something that I was like, okay, my father is an architect, I can do this. I'll get to design and everything. It was my father who told me that you should go for jewelry design. Because my father, he'll travel to Jaipur or he'll go to Jama Masjid in Delhi and he'll get stones, and he also, like, most of my jewelry that my mother wears is my father went to a trusted jeweler and then he shared the design or he selected the design and then he got it made. So he would source gemstones and then he'll give it to the jeweler and the jeweler will make it. So my father was like, you should go into this is different. I was like, and then he was like, there are not going to be any exams, any written exams, and I was like very happy. Okay, because I am a person who really needs to understand something I can't cram. Like, okay, and that worked out pretty good for me.
But I've seen that happen very rarely, that an architect is telling. So I did architecture for a year.
Okay.
And that was because my dad was into like home furnishings and furniture and all, and he used to constantly meet architects for his business. So like his idea of an architect was very well earning, always very busy and all of that. And when I went to the actual reality of how a student is studying and what kind of halat is of people who are graduating architecture, I was like, oh my god, I can never, ek to 5 saal tum already you were giving into that course without thinking anything else, about anything else, and the only option that you have after architecture is to just log into the renders and daily design and all of that, and they're like the least paying jobs out there. So after 1 year I was like, I can't continue. So it's I think your father must have understood, probably. Like, have you ever had that discussion?
My father is actually very well paid, if I talk.
I am sure.
Yeah.
But
No,
that is for the well settled.
Actually, he told me the reason behind it when he was studying. So that is when CAD was just coming.
Yeah, just coming.
Yeah. So he used to like make his drawings on CAD. He was very good at in
Oh.
things, and then he started drafting on CAD. And
Yeah.
He got his hands on CAD because he was like that, you know, जो अभी AI के साथ हो रहा है.
Huh.
So he was like, either you adopt to the technology or the technology is going to eat you.
Yeah.
And that is what happened to a lot of architects that time. So now these days everybody should know how to use CAD. It's also in jewelry design. Even in jewelry we have CAD softwares. But jewelry, the companies, industry, what they usually prefer is that we have a separate designing team, manual design team, and we have a separate CAD design team, because what happens in jewelry is that you first need to come up with some ideas, and that can be better done when you are like working on a piece of paper. Yeah, and just, you know, ideating, coming up with a lot of different concepts. And the job of the CAD designer is that they have their designs. They already have the designs from the manual design. So they have to model it on the software itself. So even in jewelry we have it. Now AI is coming up. So even I am teaching my students that, you know, you should know how to use it properly. Not like, you know, I'm just going to take inspirations from AI and I'm not going to like do anything with hand, because it's still not there. It cannot replicate what the human mind can think, right?
Absolutely.
So a lot of times I have an idea in my head. I know what I want, and then I am trying to give prompts to AI. I just want to see if it can generate it. It can never generate an idea. So
I've been a copywriter when I started my marketing journey, and still like copywriting is my favorite thing. But ever since AI entered, it's like you almost are having an argument with the AI. No, this is not what I want. And I missed the time when there was no AI and you were just on your own, and there was no distraction of sorts. You just have to lay down on a piece of paper what you want to write, and then that's it.
I actually love the process of, you know, manual designing.
What is your creative process like?
It's like anything can inspire me, and I've been so different even when I was studying at Pearl. So we were asked to, you know, pick up an inspiration, and my classmates, they would pick up a flower or an animal, you know, something that exists, something that is tangible, they can hold it, and I'll pick up like black hole and depression and anxiety. Those were my inspiration, and then I'll you know, design jewelry out of it. So
are you wearing any of your design jewelry?
Not right now.
Not right now.
I actually wanted to you know, dress up in this aquatic theme sort of, you know, style. So everything is like mother of pearls, and you know, the bag is also, it kind of has a seahorse kind of pattern. So, and the color of course is blue. So yeah, so what happened was, when I was in Pearl, I took up this inspiration. So there was this graduation project, so we were required to do our internship with a company. I did my internship with Savio Jewelry here in Jaipur. And then one collection was supposed to be our own. So that one collection, I picked up the theme depression, and we used to have like 3 internal jewelries, and everybody was like, because I couldn't, you know, get an idea. I was just exploring so many different concepts, and I just couldn't get any idea. And then everybody, my faculty told me that you are going to flunk. My classmate came up to me and she was like, I told my sister that there is a girl and she has done really well in her previous years, because I had won like 3 consecutive years. So she was
It
like,
was a 4-year course?
yes, 4-year degree.
So 3 years there was study,
Specialization, and 1 year was foundation, like first
so
year.
internship and thesis. So
Yes.
Okay.
So she was like, my sister asked me that you should tell her not to pursue this theme, because she has done really well and she is going to flunk, and you know, it's like the fees was very expensive at Pearl. So they were like, are you going to repeat the year? But I am stubborn, and now because everybody is saying no, you can't do it, now I want to do it even more. But long story short, I came around it, and for the project that everybody was telling me that, you know, you are going to flunk, I actually won the award of the most innovative project in jewelry design for all
get the pictures also added
Sure, you
here.
can do that.
So what was the design like, if you can just...
It is a conceptual piece. I'll share with you the pictures. So basically, I design jewelry where you can move gemstones. Like you can press them like a mechanical pencil, like click, click, click. And so depression changed into the negative emotions and anxiety and everything. So I was thinking, like I was a person even in college, if I'm getting anxious or I'm thinking something, I'll just tap my foot, and that is not something that everybody likes, especially if you have a very long table, everybody sitting over there, and people are like, you know, you're disturbing us, our sketches are very shaky because of you. So that was my reaction, because I wanted something to fidget with, right? So I was like, what if I make a jewelry that makes no noise? I can use it if I'm like feeling tense or I'm thinking about something, I just want to fidget with something. And I actually use that jewelry sometimes. I'm designing and I want to get some ideas, and I have my keychain in my hand and I'm just like playing with it.
Wow.
So I no longer tap my foot. That was the collection.
So like in the creative process, to break it down, like first there is a very unique thing that you catch hold of.
Yes.
Idea that's again not a lot of people are looking at.
Yes.
Something different. Then what after that? How to convert it into reality? Because an amateur creator's mind, it's very difficult for them. Like you were also mentioning that I had so many ideas, but you were in a chaos at that point of time. But how to and adults can figure it out better than amateurs in a business, because they have streamlined the process from A to Z. So when the idea occurs and then the execution happens. So what's your process of ideation to execution?
It's very different. Every project is different. Every project is very subjective. Sometimes I just look at something, I know what I want to design, and it's the final design in my head. Sometimes I have picked up an inspiration, like the project I'm talking about, and I can spend months on it, and I'll still be like going around in circles, and then I'll have the light bulb moment, and then I'll be like, okay, this is what I want. So every project is very different, and because the nature of, so what happens when we design something, especially in jewelry design, we follow a process. Like first you have a statement, like problem statement, or you have a need or something. Like it can be something like a company tells you that, you know, Valentine's Day is coming and I want you to design a collection for Valentine's Day. Now it's the designer's approach, like what are the gemstones or metal that the company deals with, what is the market that the company is catering to, because we can design a fine jewelry collection which like cost lakhs of rupees because it's made out of precious metal and diamonds, or we can make a fashion jewelry collection, like a costume jewelry collection which is very affordable, maybe teenagers.
But the statement
statement piece, or they can be like daily wear pieces in silver. So then you really have to think about, you know, what is if you're working with a client or a company, of course, what is something that the company can source, because you know, just because you have sketched something, it's not necessary that it will be available. For example, if I'm designing jewelry around emeralds, I can't have a very big emerald, right? And I can't have it in a specific cut or shape, because it's not necessary that I'll be able to source it, or if I'm able to source it, it will fall in the budget. So you have to take care of a lot of things, and this is something that the industry always talks about. So back to the point where you said that, you know, the architects are not earning that much. So one thing is, of course, now we have more interior designers, and that is something else. But in terms of, if I talk about jewelry, I was talking to different industry leaders at the Jaipur jewelry show, and I asked them, like, what are the challenges that you're facing with jewelry design students? And they told us that, you know, there are so many institutes now. When I joined, there were very few. Now there are institutes that are opening up. So they're like, they are teaching students how to sketch nicely, how to make a beautiful drawing. We don't just want a beautiful drawing. We want it to be practical. We want it to be manufacturer friendly, and we want it to be something that we can create. And they're like, students, they just add so many big stones that we cannot source. Students have no idea about orthographic drawings, how the different elements of this piece are going to be linked together, or how to make this jewelry comfortable for wear. So why do we pay them so much when we have to
teach them all these practical aspects of...
Yes, and that is the problem that I majorly have with institutes, that, you know, what happens at institutes, they are going to teach you basic jewelry
after spending lakhs on a course, we are not being able to even afford like
Yes,
even basic transportation to that place. Like initial jobs are paying so low these days because they don't have practical. So again, something that I understood in the 1 year architecture course that I was going ahead with, that they were just teaching us drawing and sketching, and all that is good. Like we started with the NATA exam and we started sketching from there, and it was just not ending. They were making us make these cubes and then drafting for 12-13 hours, and I'm like, when will the real life start? You know, because of my dad, I was in touch with a lot of architects and they were all working on AutoCAD. And when I asked my faculty, they're like, "Oh, the 4th year mein hoga, why are you stressing about it now?" I'm like, I'm not stressing. You're not teaching us anything. You're making us how to make 1x1, 2x2, 3x3 cubes, which I'll not use ever in my life. I will never sit down and make a cube again. And I did that assignment 7 times because it wasn't sticking well. I'm like, why am I wasting time on this?
I can totally understand it. And these are the this is something that it really takes away the interest of a student who was really interested at one point.
Absolutely.
And then
and I feel these are malpractices. You know, after a point, it almost felt like you know, the fact that they had gone through this abuse is the reason why they would want you to go through it too. Nobody is here to make a change. They just want whatever कल रात की खिचड़ी अगली सुबह खिला दो. The basic, मतलब just get the pay and get out of there.
That is something you really. This is something that a student told me when I was teaching at Paul. She came up to me and she was like, you know what? Everybody can become a teacher, but very few knows how to teach. And she told that to me, and she was like, I'm really happy with your classes. And this was a student that, you know, I was warned that just be more careful with her. She will not listen to you and she'll not do work. And she actually did a lot of work. Then this has happened time and time
because there was this one-on-one like connect with the teacher.
You have to do something. You have to make the students feel interested. Because, you know, students are also, they are not that mature. There is a part of like a child in them still, right? So बच्चे के साथ भी तो ये होता है, when we have a toddler or something, they get bored with toys every now and then. You have to do something to keep them interested. So this is what we do in our courses. We are always thinking about, okay, how do we make it interesting? So I like to, you know, like I'm teaching them the basic, and then I'm like, now if you want to take it to an advanced level, now if you want, because this is something that people tell me that your illustrations look very realistic. That's a part, that's kind of a USP, and a lot of students who come to my classes are like, we want to do that. We really want to learn that. So I'm like, okay, this is basic that I've taught you. Now this is a technique that can take it to the next level, but this is a slightly harder technique. I'm teaching you this. Now it's up to you. If you can do it, try to attempt it. And now they take it as a challenge, and they do it, and they are able to do it. So you kind of have to think about, you know, different ways to keep the students interacted. Like, so I got this octopus, and then I brought it to my class, and I told them that this is Moodmati. So like a person who changes their mood, right? So ye Moodmati hai. If you're going to do good work, it's going to smile. If you're not going to show me good work, it's going to be angry or sad. So now the students were also having fun with it. So there were a lot of students. So there was one student who didn't complete his work. So we all just, you know, inverted the octopus, and we were like, okay, now this is going to, you know, stare into your soul. So this is how I keep my classes fun. And usually I have a very caring and good relationship with my students. So they know that, you know, if they ever need some guidance about anything, they can just, you know, call me anytime. Not just with students at JCRC, even with my students who have joined the courses online. We share a very nice bond.
Right.
So that
you have like this favorite student?
Actually, all of them are favorite. Like, I know people will say it, but for me, actually all of them are favorite.
But कोई तो ऐसा होगा who has moved you or inspired you only, or you learnt a lot from him or her?
There is a student. So when I joined JCRC, then I was being told that, you know, take special care of her and sort of that stuff, because maybe in her previous projects, her projects didn't perform that well. So I met her, I mentored her, and I realized that she is such a brilliant and smart kid. I mean, her concepts were amazing, and she gave me one of the best projects that I've seen so far. So intelligent, and we were working on her portfolio. She was very regular in my classes, always came on time, very caring person, and her portfolio got selected at 2 places, and she got a really nice package. So coming back to the point that what is really happening in the jewelry design industry, they just want students who are capable of designing, and they're going to pay you really well if you are. So Abriti, because she did like 2 to 3 projects under my mentorship, and before I joined there was like COVID, so their basics were not that clear, so I had to teach them everything from scratch. But because all of my students portfolio were so nice, so nicely designed, they just got multiple job offers from different companies, and all of them are in their final year now, and they have paid internships. So Abriti, actually there was a company who came with the budget of I think 20,000 per month, and they saw her portfolio and they're like, we are going to pay 45,000 to her if she joins immediately. So you can imagine if a student who is like spending lakhs on their education and they are joining the industry at a 20k salary, what is going to happen with them? Like maximum in 3 or 4 years also they are just going to be around 25-30. But somebody who is starting like as a fresher and they are starting at like 45,000.
But not every student is like that.
It's like with students also, like it's very subjective. A student also needs to be passionate about it. We have a student called Hema in our exclusive course, and she is a mother, and she will practice at 2 a.m. 3 a.m. Like she is like, my baby is sleeping, this is the time I have to practice this, and she will practice. And generally we say that feedback session are from Monday to Saturday, but she might share her work on Sunday, and I can be like, okay, I'll answer you on Monday, but in my mind I'm thinking like, this is a mother who is like really passionate about this. She really wants to become a designer, and it's my job to provide her feedback on time. So even on Sunday I'm replying to her at 5 a.m. in the morning, and she's also awake by that time. So these are the students that I'm really proud of.
Do you usually get like students who are mothers, or
yes, a lot of them, and
they are more interested in something like this?
Yes. So even before I started this was my vision. So I heard like my father is an architect, as I've told you, and my mother is a homemaker, but my mother will always tell me like, मेरे में कोई talent नहीं है, मेरा कोई career नहीं है, sort of that stuff, that I don't have a career. But I still remember that in school, because I'm from CBSE board, right? So we used to have some activities or summer projects that we had to do in the summer vacation. So it was like, you have to decorate your file, and my mom will always help us out with the craft projects, and she'll make us like, she'll make our files and everything, and they were so beautiful. So she was always into like art and craft. She just didn't realize it because she couldn't turn it into she couldn't monetize it in any way. And that is something that I've seen in my family. My aunts are very creative, my grandma was very creative, and my mother is also creative. So this is common in especially in Indian families, that women get married and then they're like, okay, now we can't do anything. So I was like, when I started this, I was like, this is really going to help out Indian mothers. I have to do something that can help out Indian mothers, and a majority of students that we have today are Indian mothers. So someone has like a 11-year-old boy, somebody has a 4-year-old daughter. So recently a woman, she called me, and she has a 4-year-old daughter, and she's like, you know what, after the pandemic I'm so scared because my husband has a job, but I'm thinking, what if I'm fortunate enough that nothing happened to him, but what if I wasn't? I had no career, how would I take care of my baby? And so she joined our course. And not just that, even husbands are getting their wives enrolled in our courses. So there is someone who is from the jewelry industry himself, and he was like, you know what, I want my wife to study about jewelry design, and he got his wife enrolled to our course because he was like, I really want her to have a career. So the dynamic is changing now. Even husbands want their wife to have a career. And this is a very because in jewelry design, if we talk about opportunities, you can either join the industry as a full-time designer, or you can do part-time designing, and there's a lot of scope in freelance design as well, especially from clients from US and Africa and UK, like from Europe, America and Africa. We have a lot of clients, and they source their designs from India. They hire a lot of Indian jewelry designers. So even these mothers, they are studying jewelry design, and we also help them in making their portfolio. So after doing their course, they are like, they can just be at their home, they can take care of their family, and they can still work on their freelance projects.
Right.
So that is something which is really good about jewelry design.
Lovely, man. You're doing some amazing work, and you've received a lot of achievements also, and there were some recent funds also. If you
Yes, I wouldn't say the name of the competition, but there was a competition that was organized last year. You didn't believe what happened. So basically, the competition was that there are 4 categories. You can submit design in any of them, and they were given like you will have to share a set, or there has to be one product, something like that. So my students at JCRC, they all participated in the competition, and there were other students from other institutes as well. They were reaching out to me, and my graduation project, the depression one, I decided that I'm just going to share this, because there was a category called functional jewelry. So I was like, this is a highly functional piece, and I don't have the time right now because I was handling business and job. I was like, I'm just going to share this as a love. So the results came out, and I secured 3rd position. But you'll be surprised, there are 4 categories. So they were supposed to, and all the categories were very different. Like one category was you have to design something that is inspired from the nature. One was you have to make something which is very abstract. And then there was one which was like you have to design something on a piece like a classic or vintage piece, something related to architecture, something like that. So all the categories were different, but they only pick out 3 winners from, like, collectively from all the categories. This is like if Olympics are being held and you just have 3 winners out of all the sports. How ridiculous that is, right? So first thing is that. Then they went totally silent. And they have mentioned in their design competition that if you share a design with us, we have all the rights to your design. So they have taken rights from us. Now they went silent. So I got a text from the winner herself. She said that, have you heard from them? I'm like, no. And she was like, I have called them and they are not replying. And same was happening with me. They were not even replying on Instagram. And they were supposed to pay a sum of 1 lakh to the winner. Then the second position was like 50,000, third was 25,000. So if we look at it, because in functional category there was only one winner, me. So in that category I am at the first position, right? So now after a year, like just last week, I got a call from their team and they were like, we wanted to tell you that now the sum of 25,000 will be divided into 2 people because there was a tie between you and the other designer. I was like, who is the other designer? Oh no, we cannot name that. The buyer has actually selected a design, so now there's a tie, so you'll divide the money. And there is no, like, there was no communication at all. I don't know if they have done it with the other winners as well, but they just divided the money. They just did it half, and they are like a very big export group, so it's not a big deal for them to pay like 1,75,000 rupees. Yeah, and they did this, and after that, like, this was evil, and they just did it. All the categories that they had were the categories that were in trend last year. So they just wanted designs for free, and this is happening again and again. That there are very few companies that you can actually trust with design competition. So recently we also launched our first edition of Desdes Design Awards, and the results are going to be announced on 30th April. And we decided that, you know what, if we are committing that we are going to provide a course for free to the winners and we are going to provide a cash prize, we are going to do it, because it's not right that you promise something and you don't give it.
Absolutely.
So this is something.
And is it fair to take somebody else's designs, the right?
No, it's not fair, and a lot of designers, they do it. There was one more design competition. I don't remember the name. I think it was somewhere in Meerut, It was organized by them, and they promised a sum of, like I think 25,000, 5,000 something. And my student from JECRC, he actually won the consolation prize. So he did get his certificate. He got the prize that was promised. He got 5,000 rupees. And these are the kind of companies that are really dedicated, and they actually treat designers the way you should treat designers. So this was a design project, but again, so many competition are like that, you have to pay an entry fee of 500 rupees or 1000 rupees, and after you give the designs, they just suddenly say that now the competition is cancelled due to some reasons that we cannot share with you. So they have taken the designs, they have taken the money, and now they are not even going to announce the results or give you any certificate or cash prize.
That is shocking.
This has happened so many times that you really cannot believe. And
exploitation.
This discourages students from participating in any design competition. This is such an evil practice. So at Does This, we were like, two things. Whether it's about education, we are not going to charge a really high amount from students and then not even provide them the basic knowledge that they should have as a jewelry designer, which most institutes are doing. So it was like, we are always going to be someone who is providing them everything that they should know as a jewelry designer, and they shouldn't hear from the industry leader that kya seekha tumne, what did you even learn, nothing, why should I pay you? So these are the kind of things that we really don't want our students to learn. Secondly, we were like, if we ever launch a design competition, if we promise that we are going to deliver something, we are going to deliver something. Now what happened this time, this was the first edition, we decided that we are going to have two different competitions, one for college students and one for school students, and they can be from any field. So we were majorly looking at students who have a passion for jewelry design, and they can just share a drawing and they can then do a professional course with us. So we got a lot of entries in the college students category. We didn't get a single entry in the school student categories, and that is because we also didn't promote the design competition that much. We just posted it on Instagram. Now we are thinking for the second edition.
When there are so many exploiters, I think there should be ethical competition.
Yes, totally. So this time we are going to like really promote the competition so that we have maximum participation from both college and school students, and also from seasoned designers. But the results will come out on 30th, and I've actually invited two of my friends as jewelers. I'll post about them later.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, because my own students are also participating in the competition. So I was like, it wouldn't be fair for me to be the judge. So I was like, let's have somebody else as jurors.
Again, a fair practice.
A fair practice, and that should be there. I've seen there was a competition from a institute that's based in, I think, Surat or Ahmedabad. So they launched the competition. They charged like 200 to 500 entry fee from different students, and then they just give the first 3 positions to their own students. So this is the kind of stuff that people are doing, and we were like, we are absolutely against it. We don't want to do it.
Oh man! But I hope you keep doing the good work.
Thank you so much.
Like doing.
This is every day what we are. This is in our core that we have to provide good education, and it really touches our heart when mother messages us that you shared. We also have a community where we share jobs, so they are like, you shared the contact of a client, and I got to work with that client, and I'm very happy to tell you that I am now earning, so I'm financially independent, and I was able to earn this much, and now I bought myself this. So this is something that makes us really happy about it.
Lovely. It was a pleasure having you.
And
thank you so much.
It's so nice meeting you, and I could get a lot of things off my heart that I really wanted to share, because people should know what is good in jewelry design and what is
I'll
bad.
make sure it hit the right target audience.
The conclusion is that if you study this art from somewhere nice and you know everything about jewelry design, you can have a very good future here, because you can also start your own brand, and industry is going to reward you. It's a niche, and this is something that mother told us recently. She was like, there was a time when I was watching a lot of makeup videos, and now it's like the market is saturated. There are so many people, and she was like, I think that this is going to happen to jewelry design in a couple of years, because now even schools have started teaching design. So now I really want to get into jewelry design, so that I have kind of like a first mover advantage.
Yeah.
So now she enrolled to our course just with the mindset that after a few years this is also going to get saturated. So she really wants to make her base, and there are so many vacancies. Like every now and then, every day we are sharing a job opportunity or multiple job opportunities in our community. And we so first we started this job opportunity group as a mode that, you know, we are if there is some job opportunity on LinkedIn or Google, we are just going to share it. It's going to help people.
Yeah.
What happened is it got to a level that now industry leaders are directly contacting us, and they are like, okay, this is our requirement, share it in our community. They are recruiting directly through us, and we have got so many students like get freelance projects or full-time or part-time jobs. It started working out for the best. The only problem is jobs are so many, candidates are so low. Everybody is going through to these saturated fields, and there is such a good opportunity in jewelry design because people are so less. So this is somewhere, if somebody has passion for art, they should really consider jewelry design.
Lovely. I don't want to और मेरे पास इतने सारे questions थे, but we'll have to stop the podcast.
That's
here.
okay. Yeah.
Thank you so much once
It was a
again.
pleasure talking with you, and thank you so much for doing this podcast.
Thank you. Bye guys. See you in the next episode. I am sure कि अब आप भी वाकिफ होंगे why it's important to call teachers on board. This was such a detailed conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching it till the end. Do subscribe if you like the conversation, and I'll see you in episode number 51 next. Bye bye.